The when you hear the term like witchcraft, when you hear the term sex magic, when you hear all those terms, you have this idea, and you think, I don't know what that is, or I don't know what that means, or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I wasn't too familiar, but again, I've studied a little bit just because I think it's so interesting. I just think it's so fascinating to me, and so
Yeah.
even though I don't practice it, I just think that's cool. So you talk about in your bio here, witchcraft, and so I think a lot of people think like, they're like they don't know what to think when they think witchcraft,
Yeah.
but yeah, but I mean, most of I'm kind of connected with a community here in my town that does like a lot of pagan. It's mostly
Hmm.
pagan beliefs, and um, it corresponds so closely to the Chinese cycles and everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's so fascinating. And it really is more about like that nature, the natural healing and stuff like that. I think a lot of people, they don't know what to think when they hear the term witchcraft. So talk
Yeah,
about that and explain a little bit about your practice in that.
definitely. I always been fascinated with the different, and having those connections to my grandparents and that older way of thinking. And sometimes you just know, you know, deep in your heart and your gut. Um, I'm not Wiccan. I do a lot more pagan celebrations, and I love how our traditions now, our modern traditions with the seasons, all tie back to a, a pagan way of looking at things. And I like how
Yes.
we can touch the past and honor that, and do our modern remembrances too, and how beautiful they correlate. Um, I've been taking a year-long course online in Hermetic Magic, and it's been really fascinating because it goes back to Hermes, the messenger, and it's incredibly tied to astrology, and that is something I love, but it's not also something that I have not become well versed in. I have a lot more knowledge after this year, but I love how you get to touch the things that have been repeated over and over. Um, the prayers that we say, when we bless our food, when we are, you know, reaching out to have guidance if we're troubled, or prayers for, a friend, the world. I do a lot of meditation, and for me, I would be considered an earth witch. If you were to categorize me, it's all about how do we heal, and how do we connect and ground. How do we use that energy of the earth? Feng shui, earth is the grounding. It's how we find stability. That mountain symbology of having, the mountain behind you is someone has your back. And how do we take those feelings that make us feel so secure and safe, and relay them to our surroundings? And so to me, it's such a perfect way to tie those meditations of world peace. I always feel like Miss America. I would like world peace. But it's so true. You
Yeah.
you meditate for the outcome of the highest greatest good. And with it is so weird to say I'm a witch. I feel that I'm a combination of so many different things, but it also is so freeing to finally just say, that's what I align myself with. That's how I feel I can explain myself to people when it comes to having 15 little jars sitting outside collecting rainwater when it's a new moon or a full moon.
Yeah.
Or no, I have to go outside and watch the meteor shower. It's connected to my soul. Or no, I have to go out and be near water, or sit and just let the sound of the waves soothe me and remind me who I am. And I think the greatest gift, taking a, a, a deeper look into Hermeticism, has been the flow, how we speak, what we say, the words we choose, how we perceive and react and respond to situations that happen to us on a daily basis, whether it's standing in line and being kind, or if it's, something really big happening, and how can we be present in the moment. That presence in the moment has allowed me to see everything wants to flow. Money wants to flow through me. It doesn't want to sit in a vault somewhere. It wants to flow and do the highest, greatest good. Love wants to flow. It doesn't want to be trapped or held or conditioned. It wants to just flow. And of course, in Feng Shui, everything is about flow. It's about how to get that chi moving. Um, and sometimes getting it to slow down a little bit if it's being too um, fast, and we don't want it to come in one door and out the other. We want to have a loving relationship with the energies around us, and to me, that's just how Feng Shui helps you relate to your space. And that whole idea of what's closest to you has the most effect on you. Our spaces around us, our homes, our offices. If we spend a lot of time on the boat, on the on the river, or if it's the thoughts we're having. And I've always been really attuned to that, the waterfall effect of how one moment can shift you, and how do you respond and react and hold the energy of the now and being present in the moment to help you understand it.
Aleister Crowley is always the person I think about when I think like sex magic, just because it's, his story is like, it's
He wrote
fascinatingly
the book.
weird. Yeah. I mean, literally, and so he's always like the person that comes to mind. So, I mean, can you talk a little bit about, I want your take on it, your view on it. I'd like
Yeah.
to hear more. I just think it's an interesting topic.
Yeah. Well, the class I'm taking is based upon his tarot deck. That's based upon his teachings, the Thoth, and it connects a lot of the ancient Egyptian gods. It connects it with Judaism and the occult. How much more crazy can you get than that?
I've
But
heard
it
stories about him in Egypt.
yes.
Yeah.
He's a very controversial figure. He had some very big opinions, but I love how when you use the energy of the most powerful things in your life, and when we are being sexual natured, we tend to let go and we allow ourselves to feel very deeply. Um, and the class is aligned with Existential Kink, and together they truly have you focus on being present in the moment, whether it's high sensation that's good or high sensation that's bad. But utilizing that energy that we tap into when we do have sex is incredibly powerful, and it helps you shift so much faster and deeper. Sometimes that can be heavier, sometimes it can be lighter, but it for me, I was completely stuck. I was completely stuck in some situations, and I was like, well, I got to find something else. This is not working. All of the 50 years of crap I've gone through, I need something different. And that's when I found the Existential Kink book and was introduced to Aleister Crowley's school of thought. Um, And I've done some tarot work with looking and drawing cards and finding, okay, well, what guidance does this tell me? Where do I need to look within myself to see how to move forward? Um, it has been a year. It has been an incredibly hard, difficult. They always say, when you're on that journey of finding how to be more in the light, you know, it's like a burning inferno tower of difficulty. It's not love and light and butterflies. You truly look at the shadows. You look at, well, why do I respond this way when I'm in a situation where I'm being triggered? How do I look at that? And the sex magic helps you focus, and ultimately it's acceptance. It's understanding, well, that shadow was developed based upon a lifetime of being put in a situation and reacting a certain way. And so how now do I see how to respond to that stimuli, and how to accept that part of me? I mean, just to think that me being triggered by not feeling loved, in situations throughout my lifetime, a part of me decided I am going to do whatever it takes to protect Angela. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make her feel safe in these situations. Now, did I react in a positive way? No. Did it give me the results I wanted? No. But it was loving and protecting me and keeping me secure. Now, since I can look at that shadow and I can use the sex magic by getting off on the creation of those patterns, then I can accept, well, I appreciate that you've done that for me my whole life. And I have created a pattern of reacting to these stimuli. But now I want to shift it because it's not my highest, greatest good. It's not helping me. It is keeping me in a pattern that keeps me from feeling loved or understanding that love comes from within. And so that's basically how I've used sex magic. And then actually unfolding a little more deeply right now and looking to see how using the sex magic with the thoughts of money and love flow, and how can I provide the energy to help it flow more. So that's been my experience, and like you said, it is completely and totally like such a personalized interpretation. And I think that's the story of our world today, is everyone has their feelings, their thoughts, their opinions that's been based upon lifetimes of just going through things. um, and how do we lovingly allow people to feel what they feel and respect, and still be able to get along with each other and be loving and kind? I mean, even I have 4 siblings. We'll share stories and they're like, I didn't understand that at all from that experience. This is what I felt like when we were doing that. And it would be so incredibly different. We were there, we were all there. And we internalized it differently. And that's one of the beautiful things I think about life, is how your experience is so incredibly tied to you and your perception and the filters that you have, and letting some of them go sometimes, and seeing what can come up, and how that can shift and move you forward on your path.